What's up, Ranger Nation? It is your boy JB, and we are here today. And I am going to just give my overall thoughts of season 1 of Power Rangers Dino Fury. And I'll talk about, some questions that I have. I'll talk about the good things that I liked about Dino Fury, and I'll talk about the bad things that I liked, the bad things that I did not like about Dino Fury. So, you guys, before we get into this video, if you guys are watching this video or any other video on the channel and are not subscribed to the channel, can you guys do me a big favor? Hit that subscribe button, you guys. Turn your notifications on, share the video, like the video, and with that out the way, Ranger Nation, let me talk about Dino Fury Season 1, shall we? Alright, you guys, so Power Rangers Dino Fury Season 1. So, Dino Fury, it aired on Nickelodeon, and then the second half of the first half aired on Nickelodeon, and the second half went to Netflix, right? But I watched it on Nickelodeon the whole entire time. I didn't watch it on Netflix except for the 3 episodes that we got this past summer. Those were the only 3 that I watched on that I actually watched on Netflix. Well, actually, I'm telling a lie. I kept up when it came back. I kept up with the Nickelodeon airings, but I watched them on Netflix. I watched them on Netflix, so yeah, I did watch them on Netflix, but I kept up with the Nickelodeon airings, right? So, Dino Fury for me, season 1, it's good, right? I do enjoy it, but this is gonna be an unpopular opinion. So far, I think season 1 is overrated. I really do. I believe it's a little bit overrated. I think people are, just hyping it up because they have had such a disdain for previous seasons, right? Such as, Ninja Steel, Megaforce, and Super Megaforce, right? So I know people had a disdain for the Neo Saban era. So I think that's why they're hyping up Dino Fury. But honestly, I don't think Dino Fury is that great, right? I just feel like it's overrated. My personal opinion. So don't get in your feelings that I said I feel like it's overrated, because I do think it's a good season. But for me, I have a lot of questions when it comes to Dino Fury, and I'm going to talk about those questions, right? So yeah, let's see. So I'm going to stop right here, and then I'm going to go into the questions that I have about Dino Fury. All right, you guys, so remember, I just said that I had some questions, right, about Dino Fury. So the biggest question that I have is the Knights of Ravkon, right? So we know that there were 6 Knights of Ravkon. We had Ion, Zato, and the other 4 members of the original team, right? And you guys know that we've heard about the final battle that they had, 65 million years ago, right? And we saw that battle, right, where in the episode where they got the new keys, right? But the question that I have is, because you see in that final battle that the Zords, they kind of, they used their powers to take out the Sporix, but Zato and Ion were able to escape from the Zord in their pods. But the other 4 Rangers, we're to assume that they didn't make it, right? Which leads into my next question that I have, right? So, with the ancient Blue Ranger, Pink Ranger, Green Ranger, and Black Ranger, right? If we're to assume that they died, right, after the final battle 65 million years ago, then I have the question of how, because go back to episode 1, right? Remember when Ollie and Amelia were in the command center, right? And they woke up the henchmen, and remember, Void Knight got, Solon threw the key for the henchmen towards the Rangers, but remember, Void Knight got it, and he took it, and he, got the henchmen on his side, right? So my question is, how did Solon then have the pink and blue keys, right? Because remember, the original team, they are supposedly dead, right? So how did Solon get their keys? How did she get the blue and pink keys, right? And then the next question I have is, with the green and black keys, which are Izzy and Javi's keys, right? How did their keys get encased in that orb if green and black are no longer here? Like, I just have a lot of that's a question, and I hope going into season, and that's my hope for season 2. And I think that's what will solidify for me if it's a great season, if we can close up some of the holes that we have in season 1. That's what it is for me. If we can close up some of the holes from season 1, then I'll be like, okay, cool. This is a great season, right? And then also the question that I have is, if the ancient rangers at the ancient blue, pink, black, and green rangers are gone, how do we get their Chroma Fury sabers? Like, I just have a lot of questions. Like Void Knight. I hope Void Knight is not gone, because we have a lot of unanswered questions with Void Knight, right? Like, how did Void Knight get his powers, right? How did he get the saber? How did he get, the armor? How did he get everything? Who is Void Knight, right? I hope we get those answers. I really do. So then the next question that I also have is the Sporix, right? So you guys remember, they said that the Sporix were created to fight the forces of evil, right? But this was 65 million years ago. So what forces of evil were around on 65 million years ago that they needed to have the Sporix fight against, right? Because, let's go back into Ranger history. Rita, she was encased in the dumpsters 10,000 years ago. Interesting. It's a lot of questions that I have. Who were the Sporix to fight? Because we're on the planet Ravcon. Rita and her minions were on the moon. So do the Knights of Ravcon predate Zordon and the planet Eltar? Like, that's a question that I have. And I hope that we do, like I said, I hope we delve deeper into that in season 2. I really do hope we delve a little bit deeper into these questions that I have. And then also with the Sporix, right? So remember, the Sporix were created to fight the forces of evil. I still question which forces of evil were they to fight. But then the next question that I have is, with the Sporix, how did they then become evil? Like, that's a question that I have. How did the Sporix become evil? Were they so 65 million years ago, there was no computers. Actually, how were the Sporix created? Because 65 million years ago, there were no computers, there were no labs. Did y'all create them? Like, did y'all have a sorcerer? Actually, the question is, do the Knights of Ravcon have magical powers? Like, now that I'm talking, that is another question that came up. How did they create this? How did they create the Sporix? How did they create the Sporix? I'm a critical thinker. If you guys don't realize, I'm a very critical thinker. So I think about things a lot, right? And when I think things out, more questions come about. But yeah, those are now 3 questions that I have. How did the Sporix become evil? What evil forces were the Sporix created to fight? And how were the Sporix created in the first place? So, like I said, I hope that going into season 2 that we get answers to these questions. I hope so. Next up, I want to talk about the good and the bad about Dino Fury for me. Alright, you guys, so I'm actually going to start up with the bad, and then we're going to go into the good things that I do like about the show, right? So for me, some of the bad things that I don't like about Dino Fury is the hype for Izzy. I like Izzy as a character, right? I do. I like her as a character, but I think Izzy overshadows a lot of the other characters, right? Izzy definitely overshadows Javi. We haven't really got much about Javi. We talked about him, when he wanted to get his keytar, but Javi has not had really a for me, Ollie is a dick. So I like Ollie, but Ollie is a complete dick. Amelia, she has her focus episodes. Zato does too. Ion does. But the hype is really more on Izzy. And then there's another thing that I have a big issue with. Not really, actually it's a big issue. And it's the fact that Izzy is a lesbian. And it's not in the sense that you guys think. I'm not one of those people who's like, oh my God, the show is too politically woke. I'm not one of those people. The issue that I have with Izzy being a lesbian is that it came out of left field. For me, it came out of left field, right? It came out of left field. Because the interesting thing is, for her and Javi to be brother and sister, right? And we see their relationship. They have a great relationship. So the question that I have is, how did Javi not know his sister liked girls? It's interesting to me. And the reason, so here's the reason that I kind of had an issue with her, with the episode that we got, that she liked Fern, right? The reason that I have an issue with that episode is because when we first met Fern and they were doing that race, Izzy left her in the dust. Like when Izzy left her in the dust, right? So I just feel that, and this is my feelings, these are my personal feelings. I'm not saying that this is what, Simon Bennett and, his team came up with when they were writing this episode, right? I'm not saying this, but it's just my feelings. Because let's just go back to 2020 when we were at the height of, the social justice, the unrest in the country, right? You guys, if you guys think about it, a lot of television shows that didn't have black people on the shows, or if they did have black people, they had one or two, right? Either they were making a black person their lead, or they were casting more people, black people and people of color and LGBT, right? And it just felt like they were pandering. And for me, it just kind of feels, and I'm not saying that this is what they're doing, but for me personally, it just kind of feels that they're pandering just a little bit, because I feel that Javi, as close as he and Izzy are, he would have known, right? He would have known from the jump that his sister doesn't like boys, she likes girls, right? And I am someone who is a part of the community, right? So don't sit there and be like, oh, you're against the community. I'm not. I am a part of the community. So yeah, I'm the bee in the community. So don't come at me. But so yeah, I like what they're doing, being more inclusive. But I wish that this inclusiveness would have taken place earlier in the season and made a little bit more sense to me, because it just didn't make sense in that particular episode. If it had happened in the episode where we first met Fern, it would have been, I would have been like, oh, that's cool, right? I would have been cool with it. But it's episodes later that we're getting this information. But those are my opinions. If you disagree, it's okay to disagree, but that's just my opinions. And then the other thing that's bad for me, the stands, is just like, you can't say anything negative against Dino Fury because people want to feel that they can attack you for what you say about Dino Fury. If you don't say positive things about the show, people feel that they can come at you any kind of way. You can't come at me any kind of way. That's just simple as that. Now, I do want to talk about some of the good things, because there are a lot of good things about Dino Fury. The biggest thing for me is the original fight footage. Like, we have so much original footage in Dino Fury. So much. And I love that, right? We don't weigh heavily on Sentai footage. I love that. The Megazord scenes, the cockpit, all original. Some of the fight choreography, original. The music, love it. The fight choreography, the way that they do the choreography, I love that. I love the morphing sequence. It's completely different than what we saw in previous years, right? It looks like they're encased in a morphing grid. So I love that. And the last thing that I love about Dino Fury, the theme song. I wish we got a longer version of the theme song, but other than that, I love it. So if you guys realize, my good outweighed my bad. But that's it. Let me know what you guys think about Dino Fury Season 1. Did you like it? And let me know what you think about it. And we can discuss it in the comment section below. And once again, I do want to preface this by saying these are my personal opinions. You guys don't have to agree with anything that I say. These are my opinions. They're mine. They're mine. But we can, we can have a healthy debate, right? If you guys want to do that. But again, these are my opinions. I don't really care if you, let me see how I want to phrase that. They're my opinions. So you can't change what I think and feel, right? That's what I want to say. You can't change how I think, how I feel. I'm not saying Dino Fury is bad. I'm just saying that there are a lot of things in there, be it questions, or I just think that Izzy is overshadowing other characters. But that's it, you guys. Didn't mean to burp. Drop down in the comments. Let me know what you guys think about Dino Fury Season 1. Subscribe to the channel, turn the notifications on, and you guys stay safe out there. Take care of yourselves. Remember to wash your hands, wear a mask, socially distance, be blessed, and I'll see you guys soon for something else.